All meeting to order, pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. Start with the minutes. We have September 11th regular meeting. We also have minutes from our special budget workshop board meeting on October 3rd. And I will let those accept those minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Request to speak. I believe we all received a report from Mike. I do not think he will be on. He's not on Zoom at this point, so I don't think he'll be on. Any questions or comments? Get a hold of Mike or if you need, whichever. Okay, I guess we'll start with highway right now. We got Bill here, and I know these guys are going. So
Today we started taking care of any flood damage that we had over the weekend. Nothing major, just some culverts that were plugged. Rerouted some water, cleaned some ditches out. Starting to get ready, trucks ready for winter, putting pozzling down, getting them serviced up. And pretty much just started hauling in some sand. Over more. Other than that, just a little project tidying up, nothing too big. About it.
okay, anybody got anything for Bill? No. Okay. Moving on. Chris, I see you're on. You want to go? Did you want to?
Yes, I'm here.
Why don't you
Can
go
you hear
ahead and
me?
go through your report quick and then we'll move on.
Okay, so far today today I took the samples for well 1 to Adirondack Environmental Services for the coliform testing so that we can start well 1 back up and continue to use it. As far as everything else in the system, things are moving along with the water project. Right now we're beginning phases of the Grand Gorge portion of the project where they're going to add new controls to the water tower and to the new PRV building. The last thing that will have to be done is the hookup of well 2. Evergreen has to come back and do one thing at the spring system before we can use the spring system. That should happen in the next 2 weeks. Everything else it's running well. The system, the new system is up and running, and it's performing. That's all I've got for tonight. So
Good to hear. It's been a long time coming.
yes.
I see Kobe's not on. Was there anything on the sewer side that we need to talk about?
No, sewer side. We just got microfilter number 2 back online. It's been a struggle to get that online. And recently the compressor, the air compressor that runs the microfilters, has had some problems, and we've ordered a new compressor for that building, but it's going to have to be taken apart to fit in through the door to get into the new building and then put back together once it's inside. The other option was to put a hole in the building and make a door, but that was going to be more expensive. So they opted to take the air compressor apart and move it in and then put it back together. So that's where we are with Denver Sewer, as far as I know.
Okay.
Chris,
Yeah.
what's Tweety got left to do?
Tweety's got just a simple punch list of, they've got to add some material at Lake Street to cover up the valves. They've got to, at Roosevelt Avenue, they got to lower the valve. It's up too high, the valve casing. And I believe there's a piece of slate that has to be done down by Joe Bauer's house, or next to the cemetery there. There was a, but as far as that, I mean, I don't know when they're gonna get to it, but it's nothing major. It's pretty simple stuff. They just have to get there and do it.
Okay, I got that.
Are we holding some retainage on that? I think we are, aren't we?
I believe so. I believe they haven't got paid for the final.
That's what I thought. We thought we had some retainage there. Okay. Anybody have anything else for Chris? Okay, moving on. Peg, you had some stuff you wanted to talk to Bill about first? And whatever.
So, there's a funding opportunity, through New York State DOT, the Transportation Alternatives Program is wrapped into the Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement Program for one large funding source. And this would be funding for sidewalks. Yes, you heard it here first, sidewalks, and some other, accessible, curb cuts, things like that, but I need help measuring. I wondered if your guys can help me. Sure. Do that measurement. They actually give you a really good tool, an estimating tool, that you can type in the lineal feet of sidewalks and it calculates it for you. The preliminary application is due November 28th. And then they review it, they tell you if all your proposals for projects are eligible. If they are, then the full application is due January 27th. That sounds like a lot of time, but this is pretty complicated stuff. So, you as a town board,
Is there a need for an engineering report? or
well,
something like that?
no,
Do that?
but I may need to reach out to Lamont with some questions. I want you as a town board, A, to allow me to do that if needed, and B, decide where in Grand Gorge, where in Roxbury, are we gonna go in for the whole kit and caboodle in both communities? Are we gonna pick, it may be over budget. So you have to, once I get the measurements, I can give you the budget. And, if we have to cut, those will be the hard decisions as to where, but when I'm
What was the
taking
max grant?
5 million,
5 million?
but when I'm taking the measurements, I can rank the condition of the sidewalk A, B, C, C being the worst, and then maybe that would help with decisions in the future.
Just as a comparison, I had occasion to talk with the mayor of Stanford the other day. And he said their award for that sidewalk.
2018.
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago
No
when they
kidding.
did it, and the cost was around 3 million, I think, that's what he said they were.
Yeah, it was
The total cost of the bids were about 3 million for what they did, and I don't know what the length of that was. But
this was the last time the TAP was over, was in 2018.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
the
is the
grant.
first
they
time
had.
it's, and the fact that they're marrying it with the CMAQ. What does that stand for, Mike? Were you paying attention?
No.
I didn't think so.
He said they got severely caught up in the COVID situation. And
Yeah.
they shut down and all that, and it added about 3 years to the process. But
Yeah, so, again, as soon as I get measurements and,
Bill said he'd help you on Sunday.
oh, it's 6 in the morning, right? Okay, 6 a.m. Country store in Grand Gorge,
Sure.
okay? Bring your little rolly wheel, right?
Is that a
Safety
match
vests.
program?
No,
It's not a match.
no, I think there's a 10% local share, which I think we can find through other foundation support.
Okay, great.
So,
The blackness is there, right?
it was
at
Gardner Stone's son, Stanford, though.
Yeah, right, but it's a different grant.
It's a different, well, actually, it's the
No,
same,
it's the same grant.
same program married into another program. The GRI application was submitted. The video is in progress, this year's video. If we're asked to present, we'll be presenting in Binghamton, I believe it's November 7th. Election. I'll get back in time to vote. Any questions?
Anybody else?
Any questions?
You're good.
Thank you.
When will be the first time we hear something about the DRI?
Anywhere between December first and March 30th. There were. Last year, the Southern Tier received. I think it was 32 or 28 New York Forward applications. And 4 DRI applications. This year, there are only 16 New York Forwards. And 4 DRIs. So.
What's going on with the comprehensive plan?
What's going on with my who what?
The comprehensive plan.
Oh, that. So, we're getting ready to do some focus groups, which is one of the many opportunities for community input. There's several, committee members doing different categories, and Nan Stoltenberg will be reaching out to all of you to interview you individually, and, Diane Pickett as well. And, a couple of other key community members. So be nice to Nan, try not to be mean, behave yourself, answer her honestly. Did I miss anything, Judith, Mike?
No,
There-
yeah, they're different, the focus groups, there's like 10 different categories, so it really reaches a broad swath of the community. And so we're trying to have them all done before Thanksgiving, so. That's the goal.
The committee is working really hard. And that's a good thing. I mean, this is not an easy task to be charged with, and everyone's been putting in their time.
When I was at the park the other day, there were some cards for the interest. There's some cards that were left down there that filled out
Oh,
in the back, and they said, I don't know if you saw it. Oh,
Yeah, I
On
left
the
them
counter.
because they were coming to get the boards. I left them with the boards, but no one.
With the DRI boards?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see them.
Yeah, so they're still there.
Okay.
I can bring them up here if you want them up here. I think it's. Yeah, I can bring them.
That would be great. And Diane, thank you for scanning them and sending them to me. So people have been picking up the cards and using them, so that's good.
you
then.
have more cards?
I'll ask Nan to send more. That was all fine. So that's good. And there'll be, other public sessions and things like that. There's a long road ahead.
Okay, anything else for Peggy? Denise, you're here, why don't you, you have anything to go over? I know you gave us a written report.
Not really, we're just getting ready to close up, we have one more event next weekend, hopefully we're not gonna get quite as much rain, because they are predicting it again for Saturday. It was a disaster a little bit, but yeah, then the week after we'll close gas and water. Just still we're doing a lot of bookings, it's become very popular, for, I think, a lot more local people. We've already got tons of dates booked for June, July, and August of next year. It's earlier than normal. And
Can we look into getting the donors thing now?
yeah, we
I
are.
think that's a lot of issues with the water. Maybe that's-
Do you want to mention?
Well,
Okay. I'd like to see something on the slate for the park. Is some kind of power out past the trees. So like this last weekend, I've been to quite a few weddings over there with their big tents. And people run extension cords from building out 100 feet away from to the edge of the property line, basically where the tent sets all the time. And I was talking here earlier. Maybe we could just get some kind of a power box out there.
yeah, it's a matter of where, like, you usually, I mean, maybe against the trees, but
Yeah.
you don't really want it like out in the middle of the field.
No,
Yeah.
we're right up, I'm talking just, most of the time they set the tent where the walkway is, it's
Yeah.
basically the property line, I believe. You know,
Well, it's not, I think,
No,
the property
Somewhere
line is
there, right?
further in the middle, it's not the
property
middle.
line is in the middle of, Kirkside in the church. straight
Okay.
back,
okay,
So it doesn't. it
so
doesn't
even
run
if it's,
near that.
even if there's a power box out by that walkway, where it would be the edge of a tent. Would be more convenient than having a trip hazard of people running extension
Why don't
cords
you
down
put a
across the wall.
power box on the dollhouse?
Yeah,
That would be probably fine, but it's not, still not in the general location of where they usually set up.
You could put it on a post though, and it'd be
Yeah,
solid.
put it on a
Put it
post.
underground, put it on a post, just so that when they're mowing, they don't have to
Yeah,
work
mine
around
up
it.
against a tree.
You can make it look like a tree if you want, or if you want.
Don't start with.
Plant a bush around it.
Okay, anything else for Denise, anybody?
Have you gotten anywhere, or have you talked to the attorney yet about the construction teacher at school?
no,
'Cause I think
I-
that's a great idea.
yeah, I just sent an email. That's all I got, so.
So that.
The new construction teacher at the school would like to do some projects in the park.
Yeah.
Anything that we would
Yeah.
like to have done, what he would like to do, or things we'd like to have done.
Yeah, well,
Either way.
because he, you know, his thinking was, and of course, this was just a conversation, so I don't want it to get taken, out of context, but, the shop that they have is very small, so he'd like to get kids into a more real life, setting as far as different repairs that might need to be done. And it's little things that might happen, like, one time a hinge came from off the door in the bathroom, just because it gets used all the time, so it's just a matter of like, repairing. I mean, obviously, they're not gonna put a new roof on.
No, they could probably make some nice benches for the folks.
Yeah, they could definitely,
Go more picking tails in there.
picnic tables, yeah.
Okay, anything else for Denise? Stephanie, I guess you're up.
Okay. So, I'm disgusted and sad to report once again that, we're missing photos to the tune of, let me just put my next one slide. You don't see me crying. 675. 675 photos are now MIA
From the county.
from the county server. And, I pointed this out.
Oh, for Roxbury, or this is over?
These are my photos. These are our photos. So 1,300 are still there, 1,334 are still there, and 675 are missing. And how did I find this out? So we got our comp sheets, which is the first run through that we have county print out all of the new comp sheets for all the new values that we literally go through one by one by one, right? And the first batch that Bob took with him all had photos. And I said, you know what, let me just grab the next batch and I'll start working on those. And as I pick them up, there's a big box inside, there's 3,200. As I rifle through them, I'm picking up comps where it's all blank, like there's the subject, or it's like 4 blank fields. So you gotta be kidding me. So I reach out to IT to say, what the heck? And the response was, oh, well, Stephanie, you must not be putting them on the proper server. You should be mapping to this server. Well, I gotta tell you, I was circling the moon, because then I took out and responded with their instructions to me from July. Stephanie, this is where your photos need to get mapped to on our server. So back in July, they're telling me server C, and today, no, server I. You can't make this stuff up. And I just said, listen, guys, I don't do the mapping. I'm an end user. You know what I'm saying? I turn it on.
So are the photos deleted, or you have to go?
They're
find
not
them
deleted.
someplace?
They're on a server that I don't have access to, and my program doesn't have access to. So I wrote to them and said, guys, listen, it sounds like you changed your mind, which you're allowed to do. Well, you may have to send us copies of those photos so we can put them on the right server. I'm gonna tell you now, we're gonna have a problem. Because I'm gonna make a problem. I'm done. I've had it. This is no time for switching servers. Now, by the way, just so you know, so this happened on Friday, and I said it very nicely. I said, guys, listen, these are not the instructions that you gave me. Not that I am doing the coding to do the mapping. I inherit that. Again, I'm the end user. The town is the end user. We're not the IT people. So now you're telling me it's a different server, whichever one it is, multiple choice, put out your potatoes, I don't care which one it is. Let it be one server and you need to fix it. Love Stephanie. So I came in this morning and thank God I didn't come in at 6:30 because I wanted to get a jump on it so I could maybe try to figure this out a little bit. Only to find out that my program is down. Not their fault, no. The saga continues. So what happened was, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they unplugged it because they're trying to figure out how to put my photos back. They're afraid of me. They should.
They shut you off.
They really need to be. So
Switch.
I hear back, so I get a text back from Sherry saying, Stephanie, internet is down. Get it past, because internet is down, because, Spectrum went down, whatever they use. So now internet comes back on. And they can't connect my program, meaning all 19 towns were all disconnected from the server. Then I'm done. And the sweet little guy at the help desk wrote back to me and said, Stephanie, by the way, I said, what's going on? What's the status? Just so you know, we have internet back on, but the server across the county is down. And we don't have an ETA on restoration yet, but I'll let you know.
Well, you're not alone, I can tell you that.
We're not, all 19 towns, we're all out of business. All 19 towns.
It's not only just the assessors, they're having issues all over.
The server, it's not just, it's all like, the server is down. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder if 911 is affected. And the answer is, I don't really know. I pray not.
No,
but-
they're actually isolated and off on a separate system.
That happened the last time. That's right. I remember that now.
They're separated off.
Let me tell you, this is just, Alan, somebody's head got a roll. I'm sorry. This is,
I have a county meeting tomorrow. If you want to give me some more details, I'll see if I can.
I want to come, actually.
Oh, yeah, take her with it.
I really would like to, and I'd like to, print out their
I'm
email
glad to announce you.
from July and say,
Go there.
these are the instructions that you gave me in July. And they're not just for Roxbury, they're for all of us. And now you're saying, oh, no, no. You should be mapping here. I don't make that call. I'm not a programmer. But somebody who really knows how to do it needs to be in charge of that. What time is the meeting?
We don't really see the IT people at the board meetings generally, but.
Mr. Demaro does not show up?
No, not very
Yeah.
often that I've ever seen.
What time is the meeting?
1 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
Okay. So other than that, it's been a fun day. And by the way, on the back of your thing, there's the meeting announcement. So we'd love to see y'all at the, on Saturday, the 21st, either here at the town hall or in Grand Gorge. The first meeting will be here at 10 o'clock.
It's October 21st.
Correctamundo.
Okay.
And the second one will be in Grand Gorge, and Mr. Shriver was kind enough to loan us his projector, so we'll be able to, and it's gonna be, we're not gonna get into like heavy details. It's just gonna be an overview, what's a reval, what we do, things like that. John Wollum, who's the, used to be called the director, he's got a different title now, but he's the senior administrator for Region 1. John is our go-to guy, he's in charge of our region, and he'll be joining us the same way he did in 2015. So, again, first meeting will be here at 10 o'clock, the second meeting will be in Grand Gorge at the Civic Center. So we'd love to see y'all there. We'll have, there'll be follow-up meetings for this one, which will get into a little bit more detail. And those will be happening in January, right around the time that we're getting ready to really kind of flip the switch, as it were, and load all the new values. So we'll be able to talk about the impact notice and what that looks like and what does that mean to me as a property owner? What does that mean to my wallet? I love that notice. The notices actually get mailed out in late February, first day of March. And that's when we hold informal meetings for people. As we did in 2015 and 2019, we do it by appointment only, either in person or on the phone. We have a lot of second homeowners, so we accommodate everybody. Everybody gets a time slot, and we will accommodate everybody.
Anybody have anything else for Stephanie?
I would just ask, are you aware of any other towns that have lost photos, or are we the only?
See, you know what, Mike, we're the only one, I have the biggest photo file in the county, to tell you the truth. It's just, that's just the way it is, and.
She has a
there-
name on the service as Stephanie.
I really do have, I take up a lot of room on that server, but
It has a turn on off switch.
I think it must, I really do. And not a lot of other assessors, really take advantage of it. Some are coming on board, like Middletown, I just showed them how to do it. Walton, she knows how to do it. Walton will be doing a reval next year. So, she wants to know if I can go to work for them. So I said, on the weekends, So, and some other towns they're talking about it. So to answer that question directly, so we have, I've got over 2,000 photos, basically, including the ones that were lost forever. No one has anywhere near this, this quantity. And there are specifications for the size of photo that they want you to load and everything, so you don't take up a lot of room on the server. They only told me about that recently, so some of my photos are very large. Oh, well, but going forward, I resized all of our current 2022, 23 photos, so I take up a little bit less room. Yeah. And we still, believe it or not, we still have 2 small claims outstanding. And so now we're in week 5. So I don't want to bug the court, because I don't want to I don't want to tick off the hearing officer, but hopefully we'll be getting that soon, because it's going to affect, like the fire department, they're trying to do their budget. And they can't, she goes, "Stephanie, I need to know that final value if there's been a reduction, so that they can, put in an accurate budget." So we'll see, hopefully in May.
Okay, moving on, building and grounds. First, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that showed up for our dedication last week. I think it went very well. I was very happy with the number of people that were here. And I want to say thank you to everyone that helped by donating food and making food and all the other stuff that we did. It was a great event. Very happy to see everything. Don't know what else we have building and grounds wise here. You had a couple issues which you think is probably something that's been there for a while. With the Civic Center. I know, Bill, you guys tried to fill in a little bit on that concrete walkway.
That helped a lot.
They had smoothed it up a little bit better.
What about the lighting in here? Or the LED spotlights back at outside for when the elections are?
Yes, I have all the pieces now, so I can do that. We're gonna change that switch. It's all in my office, so that will be done before the election, sure.
I also received a call from, apparently, I guess she's from Prattsville, or Wyndham, about inquiring about using Civic Center for a cornhole league.
No. We have to.
For the cornhole. I said, I wouldn't be able to have food and stuff out on the floor. And I don't know what kind of boards they have, but I just hate to see that floor. The floor is in pretty good shape.
The boards are wooden, but you may want to make sure that they put like.
I told her I'd have to meet whether it was, I'd have to discuss
You
it.
don't want to mark the floor up for sure.
I mean, pickleball is one thing, stuff that's not. This here, I could see.
Well, the boards themselves, you have to make sure that you've got something on the boards, boards that are boards.
But seriously, they have like these rubber mats
Yeah.
that they put down. So
Yeah, if they had a
that
mat on
would
it,
probably
fine,
protect the
sure.
floor.
So,
It's a great thing for winter, really.
The next thing would be,
that's probably what the charge of.
they're having, this is like a league and they're charging people to play or something.
Yeah, well, see what their plans are.
Run it by and say it's pending maybe.
Yeah, so you kind of get an idea what they want. Talking about it.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Right.
It sounds like the majority of it's all Prattsville, Wyndham. People.
Okay, I don't think we had anything from the planning board this month, did we? I saw. And we don't have a report from our building inspector. I do want to say, as far as the building inspector goes, we do have a potential candidate to, do our fire inspections for us. I've got to meet with him. Work out some cost figures, but I've got somebody lined up that I think is interested in doing it. So. We gotta get together with him, and figure out what we're gonna do it and what we're gonna charge for it. But as part of that, and I mentioned this at the last meeting, we would like to start including short-term rental properties in the commercial fire inspections. And from what I understand from talking with our attorneys, it is covered and they're considered, I believe, already a, just like a motel, which means they would need to be inspected. That's what you guys. do.
Every year, yep.
They're inspected every year because they're classed as a transient rental, so they would require an inspection every year. And we need to determine what cost is gonna be involved in doing those inspections or how we work it out. But hopefully we get something worked out so we can get started on the first of the year with inspections for next year, so. More to come on that. I'll just leave it at that.
Excuse me, Beth, do you bill people? How do you handle the payment?
We don't charge.
You don't charge.
You do it through.
We don't charge for any of them. It's part of the taxpayers.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we've done with the commercials. We've never charged extra for the commercials, so.
It's just part of the budget.
Yeah, we stay the same, so. I've got to work out. Hoping the annual payment on this. Hoping to keep it similar to what we've done in the past, but I'm not sure yet, so. Nothing for the health officer that I know of, I think. We have a couple resolutions here for buyouts and different things for the highway, which we'll discuss. Building code fees, we are still looking into making some changes to our code. It's probably gonna mean a change of the local law. We'd like to try to add some penalties in there for people building without a permit, along with the fees that we charged. Right now, I believe it's set up to the doubles the building. So that's to be done. We are with the cell tower at Denver Water. We are progressing. Verizon has our comments and they're reviewing them. Hope we should have something maybe late next month as far as the response. These things don't go very quickly, so it wouldn't be anything that would happen probably this year anyway. And CDBG audit recommendations. Beth, you're gonna try to get together, since you're here with Jason, to try to go over some of the stuff that we have there too, and we'll do that, just with that. Sort of go over the change.
I haven't heard from him.
And he said he
No,
thought
that
it.
doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah,
This is two separate things. This is from the end of April when Peg and I had the conference call on the CDBG audit.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, you're
I
right.
sent you guys the things that she had recommendations for changes, additional wording for our procurement policy and adding sections of law that you never did anything about.
Do we need to do another local law or do we need to redo? I mean, I guess we need to know what exactly it is that we need to vote on and put it out as a.
It's an email that I sent you back in April.
Okay, I'll go back and find it. Once I find it, I'll be glad to look into it. Fair housing law, I've seen an email, a couple emails. Back and forth with you, Diane, concerning the fair housing thing. I did have a conversation with Kevin about that today as well. who wants to look into it a little bit. It was a little unclear as to what we have done with Lindsay. He said today that we would like to look into that. That's where we're at.
And what does the fair housing officer do?
Well, that's one of the,
That's based on whatever you have for your plan.
that's one of the questions that we have. And Peg, maybe you can shed some light on this. I know Kevin wanted to discuss it a little bit with you too.
So,
This has a lot to do with having this in place in the event of doing grant applications and things, right?
well, it's actually a requirement of HUD. And CDBG is HUD money that's filtered down through the states. So you're required to have a fair housing law in the books, and both Middletown and Roxbury have this obsolete willy-nilly fair housing law from like 1982. 2001. 2001.
Do you have some suggested language or some laws?
Yes, I can provide that
Provide.
to you. And then a fair housing officer, depending on what that law reads, make sure that when projects get done in the town, that fair housing policy is initiated to make sure everyone has the equal opportunity to be able, if you build a housing unit, everyone has to have the same opportunity to be able to rent that unit, things like that. So,
Basically, the same thing as any other fair housing, no discrimination,
exactly.
race, color, creed, all that
But
stuff.
you need to appoint a fair housing
So
officer.
that's what I guess I don't understand exactly what an officer is going to do.
Well,
They enforce the law.
they enforce the law. And what Nina has suggested is that you don't appoint a person, you appoint one of the positions on the town level.
Right.
For instance, the town supervisor is the fair housing officer, or Councilman A is the fair housing officer, or, you know.
Not me.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it, really. Didn't you have what I started with?
It's not me either. I got.
So
Bill Schreiber.
Deputy Highway Superintendent is the fair housing officer. So that's the best way to approach this. So let's get on the ball here, because if we do get awarded the CDBG, we want to be able to make sure we have all of this in place so we can launch the program effectively and not worry about any repercussions.
Would you do me a favor for my conversation with Kevin today? Can you give him some idea of what?
They
Some of the other
have
towns.
right online. They have
Sample
sample
laws.
Wow.
Just tell them to Google, tell them to go to the Google school.
What you need to do with Kevin is send him what you want him to look at and he'll look at it.
Why, if like HUD has fair housing language.
I
why
thought
do
he'd be
they
on here
have-
tonight so I could pick on him. He's not.
I'll send it to them. I sent out a copy of our current law too, but I'll send it again.
He asked me about it today and I said I would find out more about what it is. So,
And the updates to the procurement policy, look at Diane's email. You gotta do that, and so there you have it.
okay. Received some letters. Renee Ortega sent us several letters concerning cannabis and drug use. Sandra Rockwell has sent us a resignation letter. She's our justice court clerk. We'll address that in resolutions later to accept her resignation. And we discussed with Mike already, with the damage we just talked about that with the Civic Center again. Do we have any residents who have any comments or questions? We do have to do a short executive session, but if anybody's interested in saying anything to the board or has any questions, now would be the time. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Renati Rennie. I think you remember I'm here to advocate for an increase in the Roxbury Library Association budget. I have a couple of questions. How is the budget, when will the public get a listing of your budget potential items so that we can be prepared for
I think we
discussion?
went over this the other day when you were in.
Right.
I said that as soon as our budget officer puts it in the preliminary, which if they have any changes tonight.
They
they'll
have to
be
make changes
preliminary.
tonight in order to move it to preliminary. So once they do whatever they're gonna do, then I will put it into preliminary.
And then it will be available.
And then it'll be available.
It'll be on the website, it will be available here, and it'll be at the public hearing in November.
And so we'll have a chance to comment in November and
Yes, there'll be a
make,
public hearing in November.
there's a potential for changes if we are dissatisfied with the amounts or something like
Well,
that.
there's always a potential for changes as we get,
And I have another question. I don't know how this works, because I was involved with government in Westchester County, but this is so different. What are the ARPA funds designated for? I mean, is there a potential to use any of these funds for the library? Or are they restricted for?
They are
No.
restricted. I don't know about library.
I'm not sure about that. That's a good question. I know that we've been able to use them with other organizations like the fire departments, things like that. but I'm not sure about.
Is this the fund that you referred to last time as a slush fund?
No, that's not true.
What is the slush fund?
The ARPA fund is a fund that we have that was money that was given to us through the federal government for.
What does ARPA stand for? I'm sorry, I don't know.
American.
Oh, okay.
Rescue.
So the
That was all
town
money that-
decides what they want to do with that in terms of,
Yes, and there are certain stipulations on what that money can
but
be.
I would love to get more clarification on that, because if the town is short of, I know how hard it is to do budgets. I've done many of them.
And we do not have a slush fund in town. We have
Oh, okay.
we have some other fund savings accounts and things like that that are.
So that was just a
Yes.
euphemism.
I guess so.
Okay, all right,
Fine, Bart.
okay, so that was my question. Thank you.
Yes, Robert.
Hi, guys. So I have a question also on the budget. And I know we're waiting for the preliminary and that would be given to everyone before the November meeting where we can have public comment, right? But I wanted to ask if it was possible, I was listening to what you said, that you have informational sessions. I have looked at the budget. I have also done budgets, but this budget is a strange one. It's a little hard to follow. So I was wondering if you would consider having a session, a public session before the public comments. Maybe with your accountant to go over the preliminary budget so that people could understand more about, what it's about.
Well, Beth is our budget officer. If
If somebody wants to.
if you'd like to set
I
up,
would love to do that.
I would too.
we have a public hearing
Right,
that is dedicated to public input for the budget. That's
Right.
what that job is for, and Beth will be there at that to answer questions as well.
right, but
So-
we become as residents, we become more prepared and understanding what what you're suggesting in the budget, just to make it easier. So that we didn't have to spend a lot of time asking, what's that, what's that, what's that? And it might help people understand how the funds are being spent. It's for transparency and
I'm fine with that.
Well, I have no problem with it if the rest of the board is willing to set up a time for a meeting. We have to consider a board meeting if all of us are
I
there.
think, wait a second, I think what Robin's asking is for a public information session with the budget
Fine,
officer
if
to
that's
just
okay
go
with
over
that.
line by line what it is and how it.
Read it, because
More of a
that's the
teaching.
thing. It's
Yeah,
more
of
of
an
an
instructional
instructional. It's
session.
like a remedial, like we're writing.
What's
Budget
what you do and what you understand is you, but to someone else it could be group.
Right,
So
so it is,
So Beth sounds like she's willing to do that, and we can set up a time and
All right, if you're willing
and
to do
Zoom
that,
it as
that's fine.
well, so people can get on.
that would
That's-
be,
yeah,
it could be Zoom so that it's
Come
easier for
see me.
people.
Yeah.
And
it's
for
easy to
you
do
too.
it on Zoom.
you
Whatever
can
you
share your screen and sort of explain like the coding, because there's like numbers and letters and it's. Diane tried to explain it to me once and
She didn't talk slow enough.
yeah, like I say, I'm from the remedial school.
I'm fine with that if the rest of the board is. If they'd like to have an informational session.
That would be great.
It's a
Thank
great
you.
idea.
I think that's very helpful.
So you'll post that on the website and you decide what time and date.
Yeah, do you want to set a time and date? You have a date time that works best for you, Beth?
Grab your phones. I still have
We can
paper.
do it, or we can do it as a set meeting.
As a Zoom.
If you do it as a Zoom, I can do it anytime, but I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 to 5:30,
I
so.
mean, would you have time when you're here anyway to take an hour of, or maybe just make yourself available for an hour on one of the days that you're here? And anybody that wants to come in and ask questions, can come in then, that would probably be the best way to do it.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
But if we had a session, we could also hear other people's questions, so she doesn't have to like.
Yeah, I think it's
Well, as I said, set up a time,
Yeah.
time when Beth is
Go
here,
ahead and do
and
that.
she can set aside an hour or so, or whatever it takes. And you can have as many people be here as they want to ask her questions,
Right.
whatever works best for you folks and Beth.
That's what
I'm
would you,
looking.
okay.
My schedule.
Rather than do it a separate day, have it on on the days that Beth is already here.
Yeah,
Right.
because I have meetings other days
Right.
that I'm not here, so.
Beth has a lot on her plate. She also does books for 2 other municipalities. so.
Right, no, we
How does-
appreciate that, I think it's.
Monday, the 23rd.
That's exactly what I was looking at.
What is it?
Monday, the 23rd at 4 o'clock.
That would be great. That is perfect.
What time?
4 o'clock on Monday, the 23rd.
So it'll be like a budgeting,
Information.
informational session.
Bring your pen and a notebook.
And it's
So you
just
take notes.
educational, not debating.
Right, right.
Educational.
Right, yeah, this is not a
They're
person-
debating.
Right,
That's correct,
Look for
of course.
information.
Right.
That's correct.
That makes sense.
Well done, Bethy.
Yeah, I'm done.
4 o'clock, you said, Beth?
Yeah. Monday, the 23rd.
Okay.
Here. Yep.
And we will not publicize this as a board meeting.
No,
Some of the board members would like to attend, that's fine, but
2 of you,
2, no more than 2.
or it's a meeting.
Right. That's right.
How about you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing else, go ahead, yours.
I just wanted to say that, the Roxbury Democratic Committee is hosting the Democratic candidates running, this year for local elections on, this coming Saturday, October 14th, from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Grand Gorge Civic Center. So everyone is invited to come in, have their questions
time do they-
answered, 2 to 4. And meet all we have 2 town board candidates, open seats, or candidates running. Diane is running, Bill is running, and Bonnie is running for, tax collector, so. And there will be cookies.
Ruth makes good cookies. Okay, with that being said, if there's no other comments from anybody, we do need to have an executive session. I'd like to request we go into executive session.
I make a motion, we go into executive.
All in favor? Hey, need a resolution to come out of executive session.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Executive session was to discuss employee issues. Okay, move on to motions,
Decisions or no?
no decision from you. Move on to resolutions. Department reports, town clerk monthly report, supervisors monthly report, assessors monthly report, water district monthly report, justice court. We don't have, because we're waiting on an invoice from the state. Parks Department report. Building inspector, no report, and dog control officer, no report. Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor? Next one we have is to award bids for fuel oil. We received 2 bids, Moravito and Main Care, for both fuel oil and our winter blend. We only got a fixed price bid from Moravito for both. And Main Care, we had a bid with a fluctuating differential. Basically means that they take the rack price and add a certain percentage to that or a certain amount to that, and that's their bid. So whatever the price changes to, that's where our fuel price bid is. Typically, in the past, we've usually done a fixed bid, but again, it's up to everybody's discretion what you would like to do. Last year, we did a fixed amount.
I think the way the ship's going around the world, we better go first.
I agree.
Yeah.
I tend to agree based on last week's events.
Yep. Get word.
Yes. Well, that being said, the only fixed bid we got was from Moravito. And they're the ones that are actually doing it this year. They had the bid for last year as well, so.
Make the motion, take Moravito.
And that would be for both. Do we need two motions?
And we've not had any issues or anything. Billy, we've not had any issues.
No, Bill, when he was here said earlier, he's.
Okay.
with it, so.
What was the bid?
The fixed price for fuel oil was $359.9. And the fixed price for winter blend, which is the fuel and kerosene mix, so it doesn't gel, was $439.9. $4.39.
Thanks.
You have the resolution, second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
We're happy to know it is fixed. Need to schedule a public hearing for our preliminary budget on November 9th, which is our next board meeting. What's your pleasure? Do you want to start the public hearing at 6 and move into the meeting after, or do you want to do the public hearing beforehand? Say 5:30. If people have time to comment and then move into the meeting after.
What do you guys think?
It's up
It's up to you, it's up to you guys, whatever you can fit in.
And then then go into the,
We got two.
Two public hearings. We have one for the preliminary budget, and then we have a second one is to override the tax cap. Which we do every year.
5:45,
5:30,
5:45
for both.
for both. Well, one after the other and then a regular meeting to follow.
Okay.
Yeah. Just hold up.
Want to repeat it? 5:45.
I know, you need motion.
I'll make that.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
And then for the local law, I know for the tax cap, they're doing it immediately following. But
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
In favor?
Right.
And then the town board meeting will start after the public hearings. If they stretch over longer than 6, it'll be when the public hearings are closed.
Well, we talked about the budget and I can see a separate line if we
Sure.
make changes if necessary.
Is there anybody after our workshop, is there any other changes that we need for the budget? Yeah, I didn't see that on here. Anybody have any questions or comments based on our workshop last week? Or any additional changes that we need before we put it out to the public for comment? Yeah. I think that did an excellent job. I'd like to thank her for all of her efforts on this.
You're awesome.
Yeah, so Lonnie,
It's not easy.
Do you vote on the budget on that same night?
Yeah.
Yes, unless there's a reason to push it out next month, we do, yes. Typically, that's the way it's done. You require they have it like 7 weeks.
think it's gotta be the county by the 20th or something.
December, it's gotta be,
No,
No, November.
oh, November 20th. So we do that.
so they can, get the tax bill.
Yep.
Whatever.
Okay. So if everybody's okay, can we have a resolution to move the budget on to preliminary and on the website? Public comment. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
I left everyone on your belt.
Okay, yeah, I knew you had one. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Good night.
Water district payments for unpaid water through 9/30 that are not received by 11/1 must be added to the January 2024 county tax bills.
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Need a resolution to accept with regrets the resignation of Sandra Rockwell effective 1/1/2024.
I'll make that.
All in favor?
Aye.
With that being said, we've just placed an ad, or we will be placing an ad in paper. And we need to have a resolution to advertise for that position.
I'll make that motion.
We accept applications through November.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay. Need a resolution to amend the highway contract and employee handbook to include wording for the new vision plan, and which would be the same as the dental insurance, which is already in there. And the resolution for that. Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
We need a resolution to accept the rate change from Lifetime Benefit Solutions for our LBS program,
The HRA.
the HRA payments. They've increased the amount you have to hold for each employee. That's available. I need a resolution for that.
And like that. Second.
What percentage is it going up?
On the HRA, that currently for single it's 7, it's going to 7,500. This is the deductible portion. And then for the 2-person and family, it's going from 14,500 to 15,000.
Resolution for that. Second,
I'll make a motion.
Second.
all in favor?
No.
Oh, we didn't vote. Sorry. The other info we discussed before about the fire inspections, we're looking into whether we need to make a local law. I don't think we do change that short-term rentals are done every year. I think the way it's being.
I thought Kristen or Lindsay's stuff said that the local law is needed for SDR fire inspections if they're done in less than 3-year intervals.
That's what I got.
Unless we have to change our local law. That could be.
Right. Right, so if you're gonna do them annually,
Right,
then you need the local law.
right. And we have to also talk about a local law. We're looking at adding a violation fees for that. Which I don't think we have. In place yet, but- That's not a resolution. We received the water project costs updated. For the Roxbury water. We've also retrieved a training status report for the harassment, discrimination, and violence prevention. We still have a rather large number of people on the list that have not taken that. We're almost at the end of the year, which means we have to do it again next year. So, would suggest anybody that hasn't done it needs to. I say this every month. So. You guys went over the audits, right?
Yep.
Any questions, comments?
No, I mean,
I guess we need a resolution to pay the bills.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? For reminders, the fire day this year will be October 21st from 8 to 4 p.m. And that's gonna be in the parking lot next to the Roxbury Highway Garage. There'll be a
I'm glad you changed the size, because before it was only 17-inch tires.
yeah.
Most vehicles are like 18 to 20-inch tires
Yeah,
now.
it's the narrow rims, I know.
You accept tires with the rims still?
No,
Oh,
rims have to be removed.
Yeah, see, rims.
So they're on the neighbor unit.
And they have to be up to 10 tires per household, so.
Got some of the civics on it too. Yep. I can take them.
With the TFL. Where-
oh,
Oh, transfer station.
Yeah.
And the last thing is our November meeting is held November 9th, as it always is, which is the Thursday after election day. So that will be our next meeting.
I make the motion.
Motion to go home.
And go home.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Okay.